Welcome to Daily Buzz News. Neighbors expose Ramaphosa's shocking lies about his nephew, Hangwani Maumela.
Neighbor exposes President Ramaphosa's shocking lies. Here is how he frequently visits his nephew Hangwani Maumela. President Cyril Ramaphosa's morning walks have long been a symbol of his connection to the people, a reassuring image of accessibility.
Hi, Mr. President! Hi! I hate it so much,
But what if those walks led him down a path far more treacherous than the public knows? In the upscale suburb of Sandhurst, a neighbor of Hangwani Maumela, the alleged mastermind behind a massive public health fund scandal, is challenging the president's version of events.
I need to come to the president. He don't need to come to me.
You come to me. You come to me. How are you, my brother?
Yeah.
I'll give you some love. I love you. I'll give you some love. I love you. How are you? No better cameraman in the world.
As the dust settles from a recent, dramatic raid on Maumela's property, and as the sheer scale of the alleged corruption becomes chillingly clear, these eyewitness accounts from Sandhurst raise uncomfortable questions. Was Ramaphosa truly unaware of Maumela's activities? Or was he a closer confidant than his letting on? The answer, it seems, lies hidden within the secrets of this exclusive neighborhood, a place where family ties run deep, relationships are fiercely denied, and billions of rands vanished into thin air. The controversy ignited last week when the Special Investigating Unit, known as the SIU, descended on Maumela's three-story mansion in a coordinated operation involving police and removal trucks. This raid, carried out on Thursday, October 9, 2025, marked a dramatic escalation in the investigation into the Timbisa hospital scandal, where over 2 billion rands were allegedly siphoned through fraudulent procurement deals. Maumela, identified as the key figure in one of the main syndicates, saw his fleet of luxury vehicles, including 3 Lamborghinis each valued at several million rands, hauled away along with valuable artwork and other assets. The SIU had secured a court order to freeze these items, part of a broader effort to preserve nearly 900 million rands in assets linked to irregular payments from the hospital. This action followed an interim report that exposed a sprawling network of corruption spanning from 2018 to 2023, involving maladministration and fraud that exploited weaknesses in the hospital's systems. At the core of this tale is Hangwani Maumela, a businessman whose rise to wealth has been shrouded in mystery until now. Born in the same year as Ramaphosa's son Andile, Maumela grew up in a village near Tohoyandou in Limpopo, described by family as a quiet child who later ventured into tent-related work. His father, Basil Mudau, recalls Maumela starting out in Polokwane, handling contracts that remained vague until the scandal broke. Maumela's mother, Mboneni Maumela, held a senior position in the Limpopo Department of Health before retiring, adding another layer to the family's connections in the public sector. Through a family trust established in 2016, Maumela acquired an impressive portfolio of properties worth hundreds of millions, including a 75 million rand mansion in Bantry Bay and high-end homes in Hurlingham and Santon. One standout property, a 5-bedroom designer home in Hyde Park purchased for 25 million rands in 2018, features luxurious elements like a glass-enclosed closet with elegant lighting, an open-plan bathroom with a spa bath and double shower, and a private viewing deck accessible from the main bedroom. Below the living areas, it boasts a 5-car garage, an underground bar, and a cinema, creating an oasis of opulence that requires a monthly income of over 1 million rands to maintain bond repayments of around 330,000 rands. These assets, now under scrutiny, tie directly to Maumela's business dealings with Timbisa Hospital. The SIU's probe revealed that his syndicate was the largest beneficiary, securing 816 million rands through 1,728 procurement bundles involving 41 suppliers. The methods were cunningly designed to evade detection. Syndicates kept purchase orders just below the 500,000 rand threshold that triggers formal tender processes, allowing them to use a simpler 3-quote system that was ripe for manipulation. Suppliers were not drawn from the official central supplier database, and there was no fair rotation among providers, pointing to collusion and possible fronting operations. Documents were falsified, items overpriced, and controls circumvented, leading to widespread irregular expenditures that depleted funds meant for patient care. The hospital's leadership played a pivotal role in enabling this scheme, according to the SIU's findings. Under the Public Finance Management Act, the Chief Executive Officer holds responsibility for maintaining transparent financial systems, preventing wasteful spending, and conducting due diligence on partnerships. Yet, the report highlights a severe lack of oversight across multiple administrations. From 2016 to January 2021, Dr. Legopane Mokalati served as CEO, overseeing a period when early irregularities began to take root. He faced suspension in 2021 following an investigation into the death of patient Shonisani Letole, who had publicly complained about substandard care, including going without food for over 100 hours while treated for COVID-19 symptoms. An independent tribunal later upheld disciplinary recommendations against Mokaleti, confirming failures in hospital management. Gladys Buhosi acted as CEO briefly from February to April 2021, during which time the procurement issues persisted without apparent intervention. Then, in April 2021, Dr. Ashley Mtunzi took the helm, authorizing appointments of non-compliant service providers until his suspension in August 2022. The SIU noted that these leaders failed to alert authorities or implement necessary checks, allowing the syndicates to flourish. Experts in governance have weighed in on these shortcomings. One analyst pointed out that CEOs are tasked with ensuring oversight in procurement and risk management, providing a checklist for investigations like the SIU's to verify compliance with laws. Another emphasized that even without full signing powers, accounting officers must blow the whistle on irregularities, highlighting a collective failure among the three CEOs to uphold accountability. The investigation expanded from an initial focus on 2020 to 2023 to cover 2018 through 2024, uncovering that the corruption was not isolated but a patterned behavior rooted in poor controls and ethical lapses. Central to exposing this network was Babita Deokaran, a dedicated whistleblower who served as the acting chief financial officer in the Gauteng Department of Health. In the months leading up to her assassination in August 2021, Deokaran meticulously uncovered suspicious payments totaling around 850 million rands to over 200 companies linked to Tembisa Hospital. Her reports detailed how syndicates devised ways to avoid regulatory oversight, including bypassing tender requirements and manipulating quotes. Despite her warnings, the department initially took no decisive action, allowing the schemes to continue. The SIU's later work built on her findings, expanding the scope to reveal over 2 billion rands in losses. Deokaran's tragic death underscored the dangers faced by those who challenge entrenched corruption, prompting calls for better protections and systemic reforms in public health administration. President Ramaphosa's involvement in this narrative began to surface in 2022 when opposition leader John Steenhuisen questioned him about any relationship with Maumela during a parliamentary session. At the time, Ramaphosa firmly denied knowing Maumela, stating he had never met or encountered him. This stance held until recent developments forced a shift. Following the SIU raid and the emergence of video footage showing Ramaphosa outside Maumela's home,
it is important that we emphasize the position of the President with respect to the News 24 story on a certain Mr. Maumela and his cozy relationship, as claimed by News 24 with the President. And we do find the headline misleading, and the President's position on the matter is as follows. To the extent that Mr. Maumela is the son of the President's ex-brother-in-law, the President has no further knowledge of Maumela, nor has he ever had any relationship with him. Beyond being cousins, the President's son, Andela Ramaphosa, has no close ties with Maumela. In the exercise and fulfillment of his constitutional powers, the President remains duty-bound to always act in accordance to the Constitution and his oath of office. This he does without any fear or favor. Proclamations are never signed on the basis of individuals involved. The Special Investigating Units and Special Tribunals Act No. 74 of 1996 sets out guidelines in which the President may exercise his powers. The President considers each and every application by the SIU on its merit, and he will certainly sign such a proclamation should the SIU, as it so often does, motivate for the need for such an investigation. Rarely has any president refused an SIU request for an investigation. It will be extraordinary for President Ramaphosa not to sign a proclamation. The President does not have any knowledge of Mr. Maumela's business dealings. Neither was he aware of his involvement with the Tembisa Hospital or any other state entity. As stated, the President has no relationship with Maumela. And lastly, the President still maintains the position that immediate action should have been taken by the Gauteng provincial authorities in dealing with the maladministration that Ms. Babita Deokaran flagged and in providing her with the necessary protection. The President expects law enforcement agencies to conduct the investigations without any fear or favor, regardless of who may be involved, and to arrest those who are party to malfeasance and in the murder of Ms. Deokaran. Colleagues will have seen a video that's been doing the rounds on social media purporting to place the President at Mr. Morgan Maumela's home. We would like to therefore address the falsehoods that have been spread through this video showing the President with a well-known radio DJ, commonly known as Thibo Touch, outside Morgan Maumela's home. The video shows four gentlemen, namely Deputy Minister John Spear, who at the time was a special advisor to the President. And this video was taken or recorded on the 29th of September 2023. You also see the President in the middle with the DJ, Thibo Touch, as I've mentioned, as well as with Bishop Noel Jones. Now, colleagues will also recall, and it is well known, that the President loves to walk whenever he finds time, and that is how he keeps himself fit. On this day, he had invited Mr. Spear on a walk, which is something he does regularly, to invite his staff, including ministers, for walks, as well as his friends.
However, during a question and answer session in Parliament on Tuesday last week, Ramaphosa adjusted his account. He admitted to a distant family link. 47 years ago, he married Maumela's aunt, Hope Mudau, in a union that ended in divorce 43 years ago. Ramaphosa explained that in 2023, while walking past a house under construction in his neighborhood, he wondered about its owner but received no answers. The following year, in 2024, he encountered a man who introduced himself as Hangwani Maumela outside the property. Ramaphosa recounted confronting him, saying he was the one tarnishing his name, to which Maumela simply smiled before Ramaphosa continued his walk.
Yes, this matter has occupied the headlines for quite a number of days now. My spokesperson, Mr. Vincent Magwenya, addressed the media yesterday in response to what they say was a video and a photograph. And he focused on that, and he explained what is my relationship or at all with this person. Now, 47 years ago, I got married to his father's sister, his aunt. We divorced 43 years ago. And when I said to Honorable Steenhuisen in 2022, when he asked whether I knew him, I said I did not know him because I had never encountered him, I had never seen him, and that was gospel true. Now, Later in 2023, as I was walking in the street in my neighborhood, I walked past a house, as Mr. Magwenya said. I'm now promoting him to a minister. As Mr. Magwenya said yesterday, I was walking in a street where I usually walk, and even this morning, coming here, my convoy drives past that house. There are 2 entrances to where I live, or 3, and it is the thoroughfare, the way where we drive and where I also walk. So in 2023, I was walking, as Mr. Magwenya said, with one of my colleagues who was my then advisor, who's now a deputy minister, taking a walk in the morning. And I often say, when people say, we want to meet you, Mr. President, I said, no, come at 6 o'clock, come and walk with me. And then you will have me for an hour and a half as we do our 10-kilometer walk or so. So I was walking with Mr. Sibia, and as we were walking past a house which I saw in construction for quite a while, and I kept asking, whose house is this? It is a massive house. And I wanted to know whose house it is, and I never got the information. So walking there, a car comes past, and I always mispronounce this person's name, Thibo Touch or something like that. He gets out of the car with another gentleman. He wants to talk to me, to photograph and all that. So we stop. And now we are against the wall of this massive house. And that's where the photograph happens and the video. So then the allegation is the person who was in the photograph is Maumela. It was not Maumela. It was Mr. Thibo Touch and Mr. Jones from the United States, I later learned. So there was this brouhaha that, yes, I visit his home on a regular basis and so forth. I can say I walk past that house when I go on my walks. Now in 2024, so it should be known, because Mr. Magwenya only focused on this photograph. In 2024, I am walking on that same street, and a person comes out of this house and he greets me. And as I often meet people, I ask them, who are you? He says, I am Hangwani Maumela. And that's how he introduces himself to me. And I say, so you are the Maumela who is putting my name into disrepute. Am I appalled at the allegations that are being made against him? Yes, I am appalled. And as I walk past that house, I know that that house was built with the money, as it is alleged, that was not properly acquired. And it is money that should have been spent on the health of our people. So the SIU has taken action, and I applaud that. And that is why I say we are making progress. The Special Investigating Unit is reclaiming stolen money, and we must support them and applaud them for the work that they are doing. Thank you.
These admissions marked a departure from earlier denials, raising questions about consistency. Political analysts have described Ramaphosa's explanations as evasive and lacking full transparency. One observer noted that with access to intelligence services, it seems unlikely Ramaphosa was unaware of Maumela's high-profile lifestyle, especially given the mansion's prominence on his walking route. Another analyst argued that presidential security protocols would require knowledge of neighbors, particularly those with family ties, making the initial denials appear implausible. A spokesperson from the Umkhonto weSizwe party accused Ramaphosa of dishonesty, pointing out that his son Andile is Maumela's cousin, further complicating claims of no prior awareness. Adding intrigue are Maumela's broader connections within political circles. Investigations have uncovered links to Becheni Chauge, a principal political advisor to Ramaphosa and a key figure in his campaigns. Chauge, often called the president's fixer, owns a property in the same exclusive Hyde Park complex as one of Maumela's homes, making them neighbors. Chauge's company has been involved in election efforts across Africa, and his proximity to Maumela raises potential conflicts, especially if Ramaphosa were to authorize further SIU probes. Despite this, the presidency maintains that Ramaphosa acts without favoritism and would approve investigations based on merit. Maumela's business empire extends through 9 companies, 7 of which operated from a unit in a Santon residential estate. These entities secured millions in hospital contracts, often through transactions valued just under 500,000 rands to skirt formal processes. Links to other suppliers, such as Banjo Trading and supplies directed by Tebogo Sebokoti, suggest a wider network, with shared addresses indicating possible coordination. Sebokoti's other firms, Tebogo Medical Suppliers and Atang Medical Suppliers, also tie back to the same location, amplifying suspicions of interconnected operations. Ramaphosa has publicly expressed dismay at the allegations against Maumela, stating that the mansion and its luxuries were likely built with misappropriated funds intended for public health. Yet, the neighbors' claim of frequent stops at Maumela's gate persists, suggesting a familiarity beyond the casual encounters described. This resident observed Ramaphosa pausing at the property multiple times during walks, a detail that Makwenya did not address despite repeated attempts for comment. The scandal's roots trace back to Deokaran's brave efforts. Her analysis of 60,000 department emails identified 12 entities linked to the Maumela family among the suspicious suppliers, with one payment run alone totaling nearly 36 million rands. She flagged overpricing and bypassed processes, warning of politically connected figures manipulating the system. Following her death, the Gauteng Department of Health faced scrutiny for inaction, leading to suspensions of officials like CFO Leret Mejo, who later resigned, and Ntuns. An investigative series exposed these delays, revealing how syndicates entrenched themselves in the procurement unit. With the SIU pressing forward, the full extent of the scandal may yet reveal more connections and consequences.
Thanks for watching.